And Fletcher Brown with another artist video blog at kicks96country.com. Our guest today, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, by way of the great state of New Jersey. Please welcome, for our very first time at Kicks 96, Danielia Cotton. How are you?
Good. I'm kind of awake because I made a mistake of booking my flight like the month in advance, which is a classic artist. We're all ADD.
That's why artists have a team around them to make sure that they're where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there, because your brain is for creating and for writing music and singing songs and entertaining people and bringing joy into people's lives. And so to introduce you to Danielia, we have to kind of go back to your earliest days in New Jersey, growing up in New Jersey with what was it like? Your mom, your grandmother were vocalists, is that right?
Yeah, my mom has 6 sisters, and they have an a cappella gospel group, and I joined, I think, like 12, 13. My mom gave me a guitar because I was one of those kids with just always sad with the, she was this might help her, save her, and it did. And then I started with them, and that's where I learned harmony, because my one aunt, we say she can harmonize with a tree. They were like background singers, like they did backgrounds for Southside Johnny, Bruce Springsteen, Bon Jovi. And so I did that, and then I played the guitar. And as soon as I could learn CG and whatever, I was look into the sunshine. I was writing some songs, and that was, and getting those calluses, which, yeah.
So you've got quite the musical pedigree then.
It's all around, everybody can. Yeah.
Now you claim, as far not that you belong in a nice neat little box, but for the purposes of people understanding who you are artistically, you claim roots with Americana, soul, rock, and obviously with Springsteen and Bon Jovi and
a little jazz.
Oh my gosh! And your background. So somehow all of these elements together, and believe it or not, for decades and decades and decades, Americana, rock and soul have all found homes in country music in one way or another. So did you find that country music is just something that you just kind of fell right into? It just felt natural to you? Or was it something you said, I'm gonna try that and see how that works?
I love Dolly Parton.
We all love Dolly Parton.
And when I went to do the Charly's Pride thing, it was before the Beyonce phase, and I wasn't like, I'm going to jump on this black country thing. I thought it would just be kind of cool to do it because my grandfather they say, hide the album under the bed. And we interviewed my grandmother, who's 104, and she was like, no, it was my album, and he had took it. So it was always, she go, it was me to actually have all the roundness in their taste. She always has to claim it. But so when I did it, I thought that title Charly's Pride was so cool. And then in doing it and having to find the songs, everybody that comes to my concerts would say, I am very emotive. I write about my life, what I know, and I had to find the stories. And so Kiss an Angel to me was one of those kind of things where a girl is nice out in public, but when the door's shut. And then, Roll on Mississippi. Water for me as a kid, I was very artistic and loner. So I would walk down, what they call Stony Brook Road, and I would sit by the water. And I felt like the water gave me something. And I knew I was going to leave, but, So Afraid of Losing You, that's easy. Just go to some freaking big heartbreak shit. And Snakes Crawl at Night is kind of funny because my other half is a defense attorney and does murders. So I kind of love how the lady was like, the man or whatever, I hid in the bushes and then I shot them. But, they would snakes crawl at night. I like that. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, the part of New Jersey that you're from is kind of rural. And let's be honest, it's like no matter where you are in the United States, a rural background is a rural background. They all kind of feed into one another. But I do want to talk about last year you did release Charly's Pride, which is your tribute album to Charly Pride, who is a musical icon of yours. And your first album was Small White Town, is that correct? Because basically the place that you're from in New Jersey, you're very much a minority there. And so it's obvious, though, that you know, being, you know, a black artist, that is something that resonates throughout your music, throughout your entire career. And that kind of brought you to this Charly Pride project. And anybody who knows anything about Charly Pride knows the story of his introduction
Yeah.
to country music, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, his first time on the Grand Ole Opry, the first black artist ever to play on the Grand Ole Opry. Was his story part in large or in little what inspired you the most about him and his music and doing this project?
What inspired me was the similarity between him and my grandfather as men,
Oh,
like
okay.
elegant men who chose to, you know, settle into an, you know, albeit a genre or a town where their race was like very, it was like
Out
maybe
front,
one or
well,
two
yeah.
people, because they didn't think about it. My grandfather didn't think like this is a white town. He thought this is beautiful. I'm going to buy these 10 acres. Charlie Pride was like, I'm going to sing this music. So I don't think that, I mean, and I like that they both did that and that they're both sort of, they were darker, they were elegant people. And I like that. So I started it there. But then when I got into it and realized some of his stats, like the fact that second to Elvis, he sold the most records
On
on
RCA, yeah,
RCA.
yeah. Mhm.
It's just like nobody, I was surprised, and it's, you know, no diss Beyonce or anybody, but that his name didn't come up. Like it seems like he really was like one of the first ones to forge through, whether it's a woman or a man. And he was not, you know, when you think about race, he was a darker shade, which
He was
there's
very, yeah.
harder. So, you know, it's like a Nat King Cole kind of thing. He did it. He did it. So, you know, as I ventured more in and learned a little bit, you know, I liked him and respected him more as a person, yeah, and what he did.
Charly Pride obviously was a defining name in country music, and you chose this project. Is this your first official foray into the world of country music with the Charly Pride project, or did you dabble earlier than this?
No, I mean, I think some of the songs on my album, some of the ballads, because they're so story-like, that people always gave me, they were like, I hope I'm not offending you. But, you know, I was like, no. But this was the first real, like, foray into it. And I didn't think it would take this way. And then it did. And then, you know, and then the movement happened, and then Beyonce. And it doesn't matter how the door is opened, it's that it is opened. And that the light is shining right now on that specific demographic. And so get in while you can and force it, keep them open for, you know, more to come in behind us. But, you know, I think that is something that she did that I think is really, it's good.
All right. Well, okay. Well, as an artist, though, Danielia, you prefer traditional sounding country music, or maybe the more like kind of pop influenced country that we're hearing contemporary? Where do you live in your heart? Where do you live? And neither answer is wrong. I'm
No,
just curious.
no. As a runner, I run to Breland because it's like chicka, 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 chicka. And, you know, I like, you know, to me, some of the more contemporary pop, like Megan Mulroney and even Post Malone, it's so new that it sort of sounds like it could be in our genre. I think what I respect and find myself really moved by is probably more an older generation, like Dolly doing something. You know, it's like older country music. When I went back into his songs to try to find things, there's just real stories, and they're about other people.
Yeah, very much
I don't want
so.
to say anything about the new generation, but like the I, me, they're like stories about things outside oneself. And I find that interesting because we tell stories.
Absolutely. And all of the musical genres really have their own way of telling stories in their own style. And I always tell people, if you think that soul has no place in country music, you've never listened to Conway Twitty. And I will die on that hill. Because Conway Twitty was a soulful dude.
Yeah.
So your current album is Charly's Pride. That's what's
Yeah.
out now. What's the current single?
It's Bring Out the Country in Me, which is basically when I moved to New York with my other half, I still, you know, Hopewell is basically what they call the Sourland Mountains. And we all say hi. You know, you have your doctor's number and your phone. And so in the beginning, he would be like, don't say it. People don't look at people. They don't did it. I was like, this is, I said hi, you know. And I do have my physician's number in my phone. And he's pretty well, and there were people like, how'd you get that? I was like, I don't know, where I come from, you have your doctor's 917 number. So I thought the city made me more myself. Instead of like adhering to their way, I felt like I came in and I was like, no, I can do this, but I have to be me.
Yeah.
So it, you know, this big city life brings out the country. I'll always be that, and you can't take that from someone. So there'll always be that part of me.
I love that. And that idea is like not even new, but it's like, yeah, it's revisiting this great idea, you know, that has come up actually over and over again, especially in classic country music. You know, everybody from like, you know, Dwight Yoakam, you know, to Bobby Bear, everybody has touched on that idea. I think it's beautiful. All right, so if somebody is hearing this for the very first time and they're coming to Danielia for the very first time, and they want to hear everything that they can that you've ever done, where do they go and find you?
They can go to Spotify, which has all the albums, as does iTunes. And then you can see sort of that this wasn't such a big move. I think when you go back to some of the ballads on the earlier albums, it's you're like,
Yeah.
You know, I was leaning there, but, you know, I think that a lot of us in other genres take from other genres. I don't like the idea sometimes how people now are like, they want one genre. I think there is nice to have like these,
I agree.
that, but I don't think it's wrong that we borrow from each other.
Absolutely not. I think artists in every area of art, whatever you call art, artists have done that since the beginning of time. They borrow from one another.
No, I just think the only thing that we have to always remember is to tip our hat to that genre.
Absolutely.
We don't go in it to redefine it. We go in it to add maybe more dimension. That's a
beautiful.
very fine line.
I love that. That's a great idea. Danielia Cotton, where do they find you online? Do you have a website?
Danielia Cotton. Everything's like at Danielia Cotton, DanieliaCotton.com. Yeah. All the sites on Instagram, TikTok.
Find her online. You want to hear the single? Call us here at Kicks 96. We'll gladly play it for you. And look for a live performance for her elsewhere here on our YouTube site. Thank you for coming and visiting us.
Thank you.
All right. I've been to New Jersey and I love New Jersey. I do. I've said for years I love New Jersey. I never got a New Jersey shore, but that we won't go into that. You know, but I do love the state of New Jersey.
Yeah.
So Danielia Cotton is our guest, and we thank you for coming down here, and we'll see you next time on another artist video blog, Kicks96country.com.
Oh, these big city lights bring out the country in me. Say hello and goodbye to everyone that I see. When I close my eyes, I see that old cherry tree. Country life is still a party.